Olá, bem-vindos ao Loki Portuguese. Hoje vamos falar sobre this and that, or in European Portuguese, isto, isso, and aquilo. One more time. Isto, isso, and aquilo. So in Portuguese, there are lots of different ways that this and that come into play that are a little bit different than in English. And it's important that you understand that where today's episode is really strictly about invariable demonstratives when we're referring to things that we have a very clear idea of the context, what the thing is. In a very specific way, we don't know what the this or that is, and that's why we have to use this version of this and that in Portuguese. And essentially, isto and isso are this and that. But in European Portuguese, we have to understand that there's a shift in perspective for this something that's a bit further from both the speaker and the recipient of the speech, which is aquilo. So that's that's a bit further aside, a bit further from both people involved in the exchange. So it's important to take note of that. And let's first break down each one of these and how you would use these. And just follow along. So isto refers to something that is close to the speaker. It's used to indicate something that's near the speaker in terms of space and time. And some examples of that might be, for example, isto, right? This. Some of you may know what this is. If you play guitar, you definitely know this is a capo. And so I would say this is a capo, right? This is a capo. In Portuguese, I would say isto é capo. I think that's the word in Portuguese. Now that I might have to look that one up. Isto é capo. Isto. But let's say you are the one that's holding whatever it is that's near you, and I want to ask you, hey, what is that? I don't know what it is, so I want definition, right? I want to know what that thing is, that thing. But I'm just going to leave out the thing, right? What is that? So I would use the word isso. Isso. O que é isso? What is that? O que é isso? And then once I know what that is, I may just refer to it because now it's understood by both of us, both people in the exchange, what we're referring to. And I might say, oh, isso é muito interessante. That's very interesting. Isso é muito interessante. So again, it's used in that particular context once you know what the object is. If you're seeking definition, you definitely need to use them because you simply don't know what it is, right? And we know that in Portuguese, we have to factor in gender, quantity for almost everything. But if you don't know what the thing is, if you think about it, there's no way to really be able to express that yet. So that's why these exist. Isto, isso, and then our third, aquilo. So aquilo is what you would use to talk about that, but that is somewhere off in the distance, or at least further from both the speaker, me, the recipient of the speech, you, and that third party thing. Aquilo is the that you're going to use when you're referring to something that's far from both you and the speaker. You may ask the recipient of that speech because you don't know, but they might know. O que é aquilo? What is that? What's that thing over there? O que é aquilo? So that's what you'd use, right? So it's important to remember the appropriate perspective from which you want to refer to these things. That's by far the most important thing, the perspective. If it's near you, remember, near the speaker, isto. Near the recipient of the speech, isso. And if it's far from both, aquilo. That's the general rule of thumb. And you don't need to worry about gender, quantity, and how you formulate these. That's an entirely different this and that. Those are our variable demonstratives. And stick around for the next episode, and I'll cover those as well. Take care. Até a próxima.